Hi guys, hope you're all okay. Welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone had a great Christmas. I certainly did, so I hope you all did too. I did a video just I think on Christmas Eve where I said I'd picked up a bit of a new aerial videography platform, and I did. It was a couple of days before Christmas. I was out Christmas shopping and I came across a fixed-winged aircraft and decided to pick it up. So for the past 18 months I've been using the DJI Phantom 3 standard, which you can see footage from here now on the screen, and it's such an amazing bit of kit for the price. Mine is like the bottom end of the DJI range. They do more expensive ones. Those who fly drones will obviously know that. But some of the results you can get with these drones is phenomenal. You can see the footage here is just straight out the camera, no fancy editing at all, but some people can edit this footage and make it look amazing even out of the standard model. So a while back, probably a good couple of years ago, I was looking into fixed wing aircraft, but was always worried because there's more risk involved in them because they don't have they fly and handle very differently to drones, and there's usually a lot more cost involved. And as I say, I was out the other day and I picked up this, which is the Parrot Disco, and it is a fantastic piece of kit. Now, what I should start off by saying firstly is I did call this an aerial video platform. For me and for many others that I've seen, this is more of a flying platform rather than a video platform. I think video is its secondary feature. So I'm going to talk you through this piece of kit. So what we'll do is we'll launch it first. This is the maiden flight from today, and you literally just press the takeoff button and throw it in the air, as you can see there, and it flies up to 50 meters and it will orbit then at 60 meters until you're ready to input control. So as you can see, we're orbiting. It's pulling quite tight turns there and orbiting quite erratically, and that was because although you can't tell, it was quite windy this morning when I first flew this. So you can see it's going quite slow and steady there into the wind, but as soon as it turns and the wind gets behind it, it zooms off and is a little bit more erratic. But that's to be expected. The best flying conditions are clear and calm conditions, and it was quite windy, but it's the first time since I got it over a week ago that it's not been raining. As you can see there, we've had heavy rain. This was filmed in Dunham, Dunham, down in just outside Altrincham in Cheshire. Some beautiful scenery, nice countryside. So yeah, this is where we filmed today. So pulling quite an erratic turn there, as you can see. That's purely because of the wind, but it does handle itself in the wind very well. So we're orbiting at the moment, and any minute now I take control. And I'm not a seasoned flyer, as I say. This is my first proper experience with fixed wing. Very different to flying a drone. So the results are a little bit sort of hit and miss. There you go, I've taken control now. Now, the first thing you've probably noticed is, as I said in the introduction, this the camera on this isn't the finest camera ever. I was hoping for better. It does say it's 1080p. You can see some of the detail is lost a little bit further out, but I have seen better footage on YouTube from this, so I think I need to play with the settings. I literally just got this into the air today. But I did buy this mainly for the flying because I enjoy flying rather than the video, and you'll always get better video from a drone rather than an aircraft. So I'll basically talk you through some of the features and stuff while watching it fly. So what you get in the box, you get the controller, which is called the Skycontroller, which is really good, quite a high-tech piece of kit. It's got return to home buttons on it, buttons to toggle video and photos, buttons to change the tilt of the camera, and all sorts of bits and pieces. I am going to do a proper talk through on this. I just wanted to sort of get this out there. And it has a holder on it for a smartphone or an iPad. So I'm using an iPad mini on mine, and it does the job really well. I wanted a bigger screen. I use my iPhone 7 for the drone or the 6. I've got both. I use the 7 or the 6 for the drone, and I use the iPad mini for this Parrot Disco. You also get a VR headset, so you can put your smartphone in it and you can fly VR, which I'm not quite brave enough to do yet because I spent most of this flight looking at the aircraft line of sight. So I'm just getting used to the controls here, hence it being a bit of a ropey flight, but I did some ups and downs and some turns and things like that, and it seemed to handle really well. Like I say, it was windy, so I'm quite impressed with how it handled. You get all sorts of chargers in the box and things like that, and you get the aircraft. So the wings just clip into the aircraft really easily. There's 2 carbon rods and 2 little catches on each wing that go into the main body of the aircraft, and they just clip into place, and you have little brackets that come off the servos that clip onto the wing. So assembly is really quick, so setup is easy. I was set up within 30 seconds. You basically plug your tablet into the controller via a smartphone cable, and you're ready to go, and they link up via Wi-Fi, and you're ready to go. And the app's very similar to some of the apps that use your DJI drones, where you can see the video downlink and things like that. So that's sort of what you get in the box. There's plenty of features to the aircraft. It does have GPS, return to home, and all those sorts of things. So it is a lot easier to fly than sort of a conventional aircraft or conventional remote control aircraft, and that's why I like it. So you've got the left joystick, which accelerates and slows down the aircraft, and left on the left joystick will put it into a left orbit in standby mode, and right will put it into a right hand orbit on standby mode. So that's quite good. So if you're struggling a little bit, you can just hit the right button and it'll orbit until you're ready to take control again. On the right hand control stick, you've got up and down for up and down, and left and right for left and right. So it's really simple to fly. I was quite impressed with how easy it is to fly for someone who's never flown fixed wing before. It was a doddle. You've got plenty of functions on the screen, again, which I'll show you in detail in a follow-up video, but you've got all sorts of controls on the screen of the iPad or iPhone that you're using, which are in the app for taking photos, recording video, settings. It shows you speed, your altitude, distance from the controller. You've got a land button, shows you Wi-Fi signal strength, battery level on the drone, and battery level on the controller, which is good. So you've got full telemetry there. You can see exactly how high you are, how fast you are, and everything like that. It has return to home, which is a really handy feature. Same with drones, so if you lose it, or you lose control, or you're out of sight, or it loses the controller or whatever, it'll either come home on its own, or it'll come home when you press the return to home button. And what it'll do, it'll fly towards you, and it will basically come to where it took off from, and it'll orbit then in an 80-metre radius and auto land, or it'll just come overhead so you can take control and manually land it yourself. Landing was really easy. I was actually scared to land it first, which is why this flight was so long in one area. You literally just get it in nice and low, hit the land button on the screen, and it will cut the propeller. Well, it'll actually reverse the propeller, then cut it. The propeller folds up and the aircraft will just glide. You've still got control of the servos and power should you need it, but the aircraft will then glide and touch down on grass. It doesn't have landing gear, so you have to either hand catch it, which I'm not yet good enough to do, or land it on grass. I landed it on grass, the grass you can see down below, and it was absolutely fine, not a mark on it. It has all sorts of other features, such as flight plan, geofencing, so you can set an area where you want it to fly in and it won't leave that area, or if it does leave the area, it'll return back home and land or loiter for you to take control. You can do flight plans as well, so you can have an automated flight, so it'll follow waypoints and come back like you can on a lot of drones. And you know that's really handy. So you can enjoy the video, but video is its secondary feature, in my opinion. It does take photos and videos. It has a 14 megapixel camera and 1080p video recording. I'd question the 1080p really, or the quality of it. As you can see here, I'm not overly impressed with it, to be honest. But it does serve a purpose. It's got 180 degree wide angle camera, so the video you're seeing there is actually a cut chunk that the aircraft does itself out of 180 degree wide field of vision, so that's quite good. It has stabilisation, so the aircraft was flying around quite erratic here, and you can see the stabilisation is working. It's basically locking onto a 1080p area in that large wide angle video, if that makes sense. So it automatically crops 1080p and stabilises the video as it goes along, which is really good. You can start and stop video from the app as well. As I said a second ago, if you lose connection or you fly out of range, it will automatically come back on its own. So if it loses connection, doesn't reconnect with the control after 5 minutes, it will just come and land itself, which is really handy. It comes with 32GB internal memory, which I thought was really, really good. So you don't need an SD card, you literally just, it records into the aircraft's internal computer system, and you can just retrieve it off there via USB cable, which I thought was really handy. So you don't need to carry around SD cards and things like that, and it will take a lot to fill up 32 gig. I think this 17-minute flight here or whatever it was around 3 gig, so not bad at all. Just the technical specifications, which I'm just going to go through the manual for. So it's got sensors underneath, which are ultrasound altimeter, a high-speed vertical camera, and a pitot tube on the top, so for airspeed, ground speed, altitude, things like that, so it knows exactly where it is. It's got a gyroscope, an accelerometer, and a magnetometer for navigation. Has a dual-core ARM9 CPU and the internal 32 gig of memory, which is what I mentioned a second ago. It has a network access point, and it has 2.4 gig and 5 gig antennas inside, so it'll select the best band from an interference point of view to operate on. And up to 2 kilometers of range with the Parrot Skycontroller, which is quite nice. I've yet to take it to that. This was just a short range flight today. It's got a 3-cell 27 mAh LiPo battery, and it boasts 45-minute flight time, which I used about a third of the battery on this flight in 15 minutes, so that's about right, 45 minutes, and has a rated voltage of 11.1 volts. So that's the sort of the power and internals. Just some other specs, the dimensions. So it's 1,150 millimeters wingspan, 580 millimeters long, 120 millimeters deep, and it weighs 750 grams, which is quite a lot really for a small aircraft. I was quite surprised with how it how heavy it really is. It's got a 1280 kV motor and 5-volt servo motors in it, which is a decent little motor for a single prop aircraft. Videos and photos, like I said, 1080p camera, 14 megapixel photos, and the downlink is 720p. And the firmware inside is Linux and open source SDK for development. So really handy. You could obviously hack that software if you were that way inclined and that technical. Here we go, low pass and a steep climb there. Love that. So yeah, I bought this just for the flying really. It's a nice piece of kit, really handles nicely. Like I say, this was strong wind, first flight, so I'm impressed with how well it handled, and I'm looking forward to getting it back in the air next time. They are nosedive there. It's really fast as well. I would say it'd easily do the 50 mile an hour speed that it boasts. Yeah, just when you're flying it as well, it has auto stall, so if airspeed over the wing gets low, it'll automatically power up, which is good, so you can't really stall it. You can pull really tight turns and it'll automatically power up. So that's quite a handy feature as well for those who are new to flying. So I would recommend this to beginner flyers. Like I say, I've never flown fixed wing properly, and I was absolutely fine today flying this, no issues whatsoever, as you can see from the video, other than just finding a feel for the controls. It's very different to flying a drone. So if you've never flown fixed wing before, you'll find it very different flying one of these, but it's really good fun. I'm looking forward to getting it in a bit more of an open space, and once I got a feel for the controls, doing some low passes, some steep climbs, things like that. There's all sorts of settings you can change within the app to allow it to roll and do wing overs and stuff like that. I don't think it'll do loops, as far as I'm aware, but it'll do like barrel rolls and aileron rolls and stuff, which is quite good. You can see me and my dad there down in the field. He come with me today to give it a test flight. You can see it just fighting the wind a little bit there as well as it's going along. It was just flying off the centre line there, so it's just fighting the wind a little bit. But I was really impressed for such a light aircraft how it actually performed in the wind. There was no issues whatsoever. It didn't struggle, didn't stall in the wind or anything. So really cool. what I'll do is I'll let you watch the rest of this flight, and I'll show you it landing. It looked like quite a hard landing when you look back at the video, but it actually wasn't. It was quite a soft landing. Okay, so we'll make a right turn here, 180 degrees, straight back towards where we took off from. You can see me coming into view there. Let's lower the aircraft down. It was struggling in the wind, it's heading sort of straight towards me. It's quite misleading. It looked a lot higher than it actually is. Drop some of the altitude and the speed more here now, and hit the landing button. So power's off there. See the aircraft slowing down, and that crash actually looked really dramatic, but it wasn't. It fell from about 5 feet and just glided into the grass. So not a mark on it at all, and it was nice and dry. So yeah, I'd call that a successful flight. So I just wanted to show you some footage from the first flight there, guys. Hope you didn't find that one too boring. I'm going to do a proper sort of review, and I'll actually show you some more flight footage when we get a clearer, calmer day and I get some time off work. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that one. Stay tuned for more, guys, and we'll catch you in the next one. 7-3 for now.